The message came at exactly noon, Earth Standard Time. Hyun-woo stood at the wide window of the orbital station, watching the blue marble of Earth spin slowly below. He had been expecting this call for weeks. The galaxy was getting restless, and humanity was the new problem they wanted to solve. The communication screen flickered to life behind him. 3 alien faces appeared, each more intimidating than the last. The center figure was Commander Crix, a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. His species, the Vorthans, had conquered dozens of worlds. To his left sat Thex, a bird-like being whose people controlled the largest trade routes. On the right was General Mox, whose rocky skin looked like living stone. "Human ambassador," Crix began, his voice deep and threatening. "We represent the Galactic Council. We have watched your species spread across the stars like a disease. This ends today." Hyun-woo turned slowly from the window. He was a small man by human standards, wearing a simple blue uniform. His face was calm, almost bored. "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Please continue." Crix's 4 eyes narrowed. He was not used to such casual responses to his threats. "Your species has been expanding too quickly. You take worlds without asking permission. You build weapons without telling us. You act like you own the galaxy." "We act like free beings," Hyun-woo replied quietly. "Is that a problem?" The bird-like. Thex leaned forward, his feathers ruffling with anger. "Everything is a problem when it comes to humans. You don't follow our rules. You don't join our trade systems. You ignore our warnings." "Your warnings about what?" Hyun-woo asked. "General," Mox spoke for the first time, his voice like grinding rocks. "About staying in your place. Every new species learns their place in the galaxy. Some are workers, some are traders, some are soldiers. Humans refuse to pick a role." Hyun-woo nodded thoughtfully. "I see. And what role did you have in mind for us?" "Servants," Crix said bluntly. "Your species will surrender all colonies outside your home system. You will place your military under our command. You will pay tribute to the Council. You will learn to obey." The human ambassador was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was not a happy smile. "Is that all?" The 3 aliens looked at each other, confused. This was not the reaction they expected. Fear, anger, desperation, those they understood. This calm amusement was something new. "Perhaps you did not understand," Thex said slowly. "We are offering you one chance to surrender peacefully. The alternative is total war." "I understood perfectly," Hyun-woo said. "I was just wondering if you had any other demands. That seemed like a rather short list for someone threatening the entire human race." Crix's anger was building. His 4 arms moved restlessly. "Do you think this is a joke, human? Do you know how many species we represent? How many ships we can bring to bear against your pathetic colonies?" "I'm sure it's very impressive," Hyun-woo said. "Why don't you show me?" The aliens were stunned. In thousands of years of galactic politics, no one had ever asked them to demonstrate their power. Species either submitted immediately or begged for mercy. No one had ever seemed curious about the details. "Very well," Crix growled. "If you insist on learning the hard way." The screen changed to show space outside Earth's system. A massive ship appeared from nowhere, its hull stretching for kilometers. It was dark gray with red markings, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. "This was a Vorthon dreadnought, one of the most feared ships in the galaxy. Observe," Crix said proudly. "This is the World Breaker. Watch what happens to those who defy the Council." On the screen, Earth's moon suddenly split in half. The small, uninhabited satellite broke apart like an egg, pieces spinning away into space. The demonstration was over in seconds, but the message was clear. The aliens could destroy worlds. Hyun-woo watched the destruction with interest. He made a few notes on a tablet. "Impressive," he said finally. Thank you for the demonstration. The aliens stared at him. Where was the terror? Where was the immediate offer of surrender? Humans were supposed to be a young species, barely out of their home system. They should be cowering in fear. Did you not understand what you just saw? General Mox demanded. We destroyed your moon in seconds. Oh, I understood, Hyunwoo replied. That was actually quite helpful. I was wondering about the power output of your main weapons. Now I know. Thex's feathers were standing straight up in confusion. Helpful. We just showed you that resistance is useless. You showed me that you can destroy an uninhabited rock with a very large gun, Hyunwoo corrected gently. That's certainly something. I'm grateful for the information. Commander Crix was beginning to feel something he had never experienced before. Uncertainty. In all his conquests, the enemy had always reacted predictably. They fought desperately and lost, or they surrendered immediately. They never took notes. Human, he said slowly. Do you understand the situation? We can bring 10,000 ships to your system. We can turn every human world into dust. Your species will be extinct within a month. Hyunwoo looked up from his tablet. That does sound unpleasant. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me? The silence stretched on for long moments. Finally, Thex spoke. We are giving you 30 standard days to comply. Surrender your colonies. Submit your military. Accept our rule, or face complete destruction. 30 days, Hyunwoo repeated. That's very generous of you. I'll make sure the relevant people are informed of your offer. This is not an offer, Crix exploded. This is an ultimatum. Submit or die. I understand, Hyunwoo said calmly. Was there anything else? The three aliens looked at each other again. This conversation was not going as planned. They had expected either immediate surrender or desperate bargaining. Instead, they felt like they had just given a business presentation to someone who was only mildly interested. No, Crix said finally. Nothing else. 30 days, human. Remember that. I will, Hyunwoo promised. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I found it very educational. The communication ended. Hyunwoo stood alone in his office, looking back out at Earth. Where the moon had been, there was now only empty space and drifting debris. He tapped his tablet and opened a communication channel. Admiral Sora? Yes, it's Hyunwoo. They just made their offer. Yes, exactly as we expected, 30 days. Yes, they demonstrated their main weapon. No, nothing we hadn't already calculated. He paused, listening to the response. Yes, I told them. Same words we agreed on. They seemed confused by the reaction. I don't think anyone has ever asked them, is that all before? Another pause. Begin Phase 2 immediately. And Admiral, make sure everyone understands. We're not the same species we were when we left Earth. It's time the galaxy learned what happens when you threaten humanity's children. Hyunwoo ended the call and looked back at the space where Earth's moon had been. The aliens thought they had shown him humanity's future. Instead, they had just shown him exactly how they planned to die. In 30 days, the galaxy would learn that some species were born to be predators, and humanity had been hunting long before they reached the stars. Admiral Sora stood in the command center deep beneath the Swiss Alps. The room buzzed with quiet activity as hundreds of technicians worked at their stations. Screens showed star maps, ship positions, and weapon readiness across human space. This was humanity's real military headquarters, hidden from alien eyes. Phase 2 is active, reported Captain Dae-ho as he entered the room. His uniform was still dusty from his latest reconnaissance mission. All deep space monitoring stations confirm alien fleet movements. They're gathering ships from across the galaxy. Sora nodded without looking away from the main display. How many? Current count is 8,000 ships and climbing, Representatives from 43 different species. The Vorthons are providing the heavy battleships. The Zephyrians are bringing their carrier fleets. Everyone wants to be part of humanity's destruction. Of course they do, Sora said quietly. We're the new species that doesn't know its place. They think this will be easy. She turned to face the room. Sora was not a large woman, but her presence filled the space. She had fought in humanity's first contact wars, back when humans thought they were alone in the universe. Those days of innocence seemed very far away now. Status report, she called out. Equalizer protocol is at 95% completion, came the first response. Engineer Ye-Jin stepped forward, tablet in hand. All primary systems are online. The aliens still don't know what they're really facing. Good. What about our hidden assets? Captain Dae-ho consulted his own notes. Shadow Fleet is in position throughout the asteroid belt. The alien sensors are still designed for their own technology. They can't detect our stealth systems. Intelligence gathering? Proceeding perfectly, Dae-ho continued. The aliens are so confident, they're not even trying to hide their communications. We know the exact composition of every fleet group, their weapon capabilities, their command structure, everything. Sora smiled grimly. They think we're primitives who barely learned to fly between stars. They have no idea we've been preparing for this moment since first contact. Dr. Boram approached from the research section. He was a thin man with tired eyes, but his voice was excited. Admiral, the weapon demonstration data is complete. Their dreadnought's main gun is exactly what we predicted. Brute force energy projection with no adaptive capability. Meaning it's designed to destroy things that can't fight back. Planets, moons, space stations. Against a target that can adapt and respond. It's just a very expensive light show. Sora nodded. What else? Their tactics are completely predictable. Every battle they've ever fought follows the same pattern. Overwhelming force, direct assault, enemy surrender. They've never faced an opponent that fights back effectively. Because there's never been one, Sora said. Until now. She walked to the central display, which showed the galaxy with human colonies marked in blue. There weren't many of them yet, but each one represented millions of human lives. Children who had been born under alien stars. Families who had built new homes on distant worlds. They made one mistake, Sora said, her voice carrying to every person in the room. They threatened our children. They told us to abandon the colonies. They think we'll sacrifice our own people to save Earth. The room was completely silent now. Everyone was listening. They don't understand what that means to a human, Sora continued. They don't understand that we would burn down the entire galaxy before we let harm come to our young. They think we're like them, willing to sacrifice the weak to save the strong. Engineer Ye-Jin spoke up. The final weapon systems are ready for deployment, Admiral. The aliens won't know what hit them. Show me. The main screen changed to display technical schematics. What looked like simple communication satellites were actually something much more dangerous. Humanity had learned to hide their weapons as civilian technology, making them invisible to alien scanners. Hunter-killer swarms, Ye-Jin explained. Self-replicating, self-directing, and programmed with one simple command. Find the biggest threat and eliminate it. Each unit can produce 10 more before engaging the enemy. How many do we have? Currently, about 50,000 units. By the time the aliens arrive, we'll have over 1 million. Dr. Boram pulled up another display. We've also completed the psychological profile analysis. Admiral, the aliens have a critical weakness they don't even know about. Explain. Every species in the galaxy evolved as prey animals or peaceful omnivores. They developed technology to escape their predators, not to become better predators themselves. They've never encountered a species like us. Sora understood immediately. They don't know how to fight a predator. Exactly. Their entire military doctrine is based on overwhelming force because that's what works against other prey species. But predators don't panic when outnumbered. Predators adapt. Predators hunt. Captain Deho had been reviewing incoming intelligence reports. Admiral, we're also picking up interesting chatter from the alien fleets. Some of their crews are already nervous about fighting humans. Why? They've been studying our history, our wars, our extinction events, how we treat other predators on Earth. Some of them are starting to realize they might have made a mistake. Sora walked back to the Central Command Station. What's our current operational status? All human colonies are prepared for siege defense, reported Commander Sung Min from the tactical station. Civilian populations have been moved to secure locations. Military assets are hidden and ready. Deep space reconnaissance? Captain Deho's teams have identified every major alien command ship, came the response. We know which ones to hit first to maximize confusion and panic. Weapon systems? All equalizer protocol systems are online and waiting, Engineer Ye Jin confirmed. The aliens think they're facing primitive kinetic weapons and basic energy shields. They have no idea what adaptive technology can do. Sora looked around the room one more time. These people had worked for months preparing for this moment. They had designed weapons the galaxy had never seen. They had developed tactics that prey species could never imagine. They had prepared humanity for its first real war as a spacefaring civilization. There's something else, Dr. Boram said quietly. The aliens are broadcasting their approach. They want the galaxy to watch humanity's defeat. Every species will be watching when the fighting starts. Good, Sora said. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when someone threatens human children. Let them see what 4 billion years of evolution as apex predators looks like when it reaches the stars. She turned to the main communication system. All units, this is Admiral Sora. The enemy approaches with overwhelming numbers and absolute confidence. They think we're just another species to be conquered. They think this will be easy. Her voice hardened. They're about to learn that Earth didn't send its children to the stars to hide. We sent them to spread. And when someone threatens our young, we don't negotiate. We don't surrender. We hunt. The room erupted in quiet acknowledgments from every station. Humanity was ready for war. Not the kind of war the aliens expected, but the kind of war that apex predators had been fighting since the beginning of time. In 28 days, the galaxy would learn that some species were born to hunt, and humanity had been perfecting the art of killing for millions of years before they learned to fly. The 30 days were over. Captain Han Sol stood on the bridge of the human dreadnought Persistence, watching the edge of the solar system through the main viewer. Space seemed empty, but he knew that was about to change. Contact, reported Lieutenant Nari from the sensor station. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. Estimate 10,000 plus vessels. Here they come, Han Sol said quietly. Around him, his bridge crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment for months. The first ships appeared as points of light against the stars. Then more. Then hundreds more. Within minutes, the edge of human space was filled with alien warships. They came in perfect formations, organized by species and ship class. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Incoming transmission, reported the communications officer. "Put it through." Commander Crix appeared on the main screen, standing on the bridge of his flagship. Behind him, Han Solo could see dozens of other alien officers from different species. They all looked confident, almost bored. This was routine for them. "Human fleet," Crix announced. "You are outnumbered 50-1. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." Han Solo stood slowly. He was a tall man with graying hair and calm eyes. He had been fighting battles since before most of his crew were born. "Commander Crix, thank you for coming all this way. Is that all you brought?" The alien. Commander's confidence flickered for just a moment. "All we brought? Human, you face the combined might of 43 species, over 10,000 warships, the greatest military force in galactic history." "I see that," Han Solo replied. "It's very impressive. I was just wondering if you had any reserves coming, or if this is your entire force." Crix looked confused. This was the same strange reaction they had gotten from the human ambassador. No fear, no desperation, just calm curiosity. "This is more than enough to destroy every human world," Crix said. "Surrender now." "I appreciate the offer," Han Solo said politely, "but I'm afraid I'll have to decline." The alien fleet began moving forward in perfect formation. Massive battleships led the way, followed by carriers launching fighter squadrons. Support ships spread out to prevent any human vessels from escaping. It was a textbook assault, executed with the precision of countless previous victories. Han Solo watched them approach. "All ships, this is the captain. Weapons free. Engage at will." The human fleet consisted of only 200 ships. Compared to the alien armada, they looked pathetic. The aliens had been right about the numbers. What they didn't know was that numbers weren't everything. The first alien weapons fired. Massive energy beams lanced across space, designed to vaporize human ships in single hits. The beam struck human shields and bounced off. "What?" Crix stared at his weapons officer. "Report!" "Sir, our weapons are having no effect. The human shields are adapting to our energy frequencies. On the human ships, Engineer Yejin's equalizer protocol was working perfectly. The adaptive shielding systems analyzed each incoming attack and adjusted their defensive frequencies in real time. What should have been overwhelming firepower became nothing more than light and heat." "Impossible," breathed General Mox from the alien command ship. "No species has adaptive shielding technology." "Apparently one does," observed Thex, his feathers ruffling with concern. The human ships began their counterattack. Their weapons were smaller than the alien guns, but they didn't need to be bigger. They just needed to be smarter. Lieutenant Nari, now commanding a squadron of human fighters, led her ships into the alien formation. The aliens expected fighter craft to attack in organized waves, the way civilized species fought. Instead, the humans scattered like a pack of wolves, each pilot choosing their own targets and attack patterns. "They're not following standard tactics," reported an alien tactical officer. "We can't predict their movements." "Then shoot everything," Crix ordered. The alien fleet opened fire with every weapon they had. Space filled with energy beams, missile barrages, and plasma bursts. It was enough firepower to crack a planet. The humans flew through it all like it was a light rain. Commander Sung Min, watching from the tactical center on Earth, smiled grimly. Phase 2. Activate the surprises. Throughout the asteroid belt, objects that had looked like ordinary rocks suddenly came to life. These were the Shadow Fleet ships that Captain Deho had positioned weeks ago. They had been waiting patiently, invisible to alien sensors, for this exact moment. "Contact behind us!" screamed an alien sensor operator. Ships appearing throughout the formation. The human stealth ships had been hiding in plain sight, disguised as space debris. Now they revealed themselves, striking at alien vessels from inside their own defensive formations. The perfectly organized alien fleet suddenly found itself under attack from all directions. "How many ships do they have?" demanded Crix. "Unknown, sir. They keep appearing from nowhere." What the aliens didn't understand was that humans had learned to think like predators. They didn't just bring enough ships to win a fair fight. They brought enough ships to win an unfair fight, then made sure the fight was as unfair as possible. Pilot Nari's fighter squadron struck at an alien carrier, their small ships moving too fast and too unpredictably for the massive vessel's weapons to track. They didn't try to destroy the ship. Instead, they targeted its launch bays, trapping hundreds of alien fighters inside. "Sir," reported the alien tactical officer, "we're losing formation cohesion. The humans are targeting our command and control systems." This was something new in galactic warfare. Most species fought to destroy enemy ships. Humans fought to destroy enemy capability. They struck at sensors, communications, and command centers, leaving alien ships blind and confused. Captain Day-Ho, leading one of the stealth attack groups, had identified the alien command frequencies during his reconnaissance missions. Now, human ships were broadcasting false orders across the alien fleet, causing formations to break apart as different units received conflicting commands. "Sir!" an alien communications officer reported frantically. "We're getting orders to retreat from Command Section 7. "We don't have a Command Section 7, Crix shouted. "Yes, sir, but Battle Group 12 doesn't know that. They're already pulling back." The alien fleet was dissolving into chaos. Ships that had fought together for decades suddenly couldn't communicate with each other. Formations that had conquered worlds were breaking apart as human hackers turned their own systems against them. "Status report," Crix demanded. "We've lost contact with 30% of our fleet," came the reply. "Another 20% are reporting critical systems failures. The humans are doing something to our computers." What the humans were doing was exactly what they had learned to do on Earth. When facing a larger predator, smaller predators learned to be smarter, faster, and more vicious. They struck at weak points and disappeared before the enemy could respond. Han Sol watched the battle developing exactly as Admiral So-Ra had predicted. "All ships, begin hunting Pattern 7. Target the big ones first." The human fleet reformed into small groups, each one targeting a different alien capital ship. They moved like wolf packs, coordinating their attacks without radio communications, using tactics they had practiced for months. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that didn't behave like any opponent they had ever faced. Most species either fought defensively or attacked in organized formations. Humans did both simultaneously, defending when they needed to and attacking when they saw weakness. "Sir," reported the alien weapons officer, "the humans are adapting faster than we can compensate. Every time we change our weapon frequencies, their shields adjust within seconds, then overwhelm them with raw firepower. We're trying, sir, but they're not where our weapons are aimed. They keep moving." Crix was beginning to feel something he had never experienced in decades of conquest. For the first time in his military career, he was not sure his side was going to win. The battle had been going for only 2 hours, but already the mighty alien armada was showing signs of strain. Ships were reporting system failures, communication breakdowns, and crew panic. The humans, meanwhile, seemed to be getting stronger. "Sir," his tactical officer said quietly, "perhaps we should consider a strategic withdrawal." Crix stared at him. "Withdrawal? We outnumber them 50-1. "Yes, sir, but numbers don't seem to matter against these humans. They fight like Like what? Like predators, sir. They fight like they're hunting us. Lieutenant Jin-A sat in the communications center of the human command ship, surrounded by screens showing alien fleet positions. Her job was something the galaxy had never seen before: psychological warfare on a species level. The aliens were about to learn something about humans that no textbook had ever taught. "Begin transmission," she said quietly. Across the alien fleet, every communication channel suddenly filled with human voices. But these weren't the calm, polite voices the aliens had heard from diplomats. These were different voices. Older voices. Darker voices. "Attention, alien forces," Jin-A began, her voice carrying to every ship in the enemy fleet. "You wanted to know about humans. Let us tell you a story." The main screens throughout the alien fleet flickered to life. What appeared were images from Earth's history. Not the peaceful, civilized images most species shared when they met aliens. These were different images. "This is Earth," Jin-A continued as images of humanity's homeworld appeared. "It looks peaceful, doesn't it? Green and blue and beautiful, but looks can deceive. The images changed. Now the aliens saw Earth's predators in action. Lions hunting zebras, wolves bringing down elk, sharks rising from dark water. The aliens watched with growing unease as they realized what they were seeing. "Every world has predators," Jin-A said. "But Earth is special. On Earth, the predators learn to hunt other predators." Commander Crix tried to shut off the transmission, but his communications officer shook his head. "Sir, they've taken control of our systems. We can't block the signal." The images continued. Early humans hunting with simple spears, bringing down animals 10 times their size. Not through strength, but through intelligence, cooperation, and relentless persistence. "Humans are persistent predators," Ginny explained to her captive audience. "We chase our prey until it collapses from exhaustion. We hunt in packs. We use tools. We plan. We adapt. And we never, ever give up." The images shifted to human warfare. The aliens saw battles from across Earth's history. Not the clean, organized conflicts they knew, but something far more brutal. Humans fighting humans with a savagery that made the watching aliens step back from their screens. "This is what we do to each other," Jin-A said simply. "Imagine what we do to our enemies." Dr. Minho, working in the weapons research lab, smiled as he watched the alien reactions on his monitors. The psychological warfare was working perfectly. Now it was time for the physical demonstration. "Activate Pandora Protocol," he said quietly. Throughout the human fleet, launch bays opened. What emerged looked like small metal insects, each bigger than a human fist. The aliens barely noticed them at first. They were focused on the larger human ships and the disturbing images still playing on their screens. The metal insects moved quickly through space, each one guided by advanced artificial intelligence. They had been programmed with simple instructions: find the biggest threat and eliminate it. The first alien ship to encounter them was a Vorthon battleship. The tiny devices swarmed over its hull like ants, looking for weak points. The ship's defensive systems tried to shoot them down, but there were too many, and they were too small and too fast. "Sir," reported the battleship's tactical officer, "we have unknown objects on our hull. They appear to be eating through our armor." The metal insects weren't just attacking. They were learning. Each one that successfully penetrated the ship's defenses transmitted its data to the others. Within minutes, hundreds more insects knew exactly how to breach Vorthon armor, but that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was what happened next. "Sir," the tactical officer's voice was now panicked. "The objects on our hull are reproducing. Each one is creating more of itself using our ship's materials." Dr. Minho watched with satisfaction as his hunter-killer drones did exactly what they were designed to do. Each drone could analyze an enemy ship's weaknesses, exploit those weaknesses, and then create 10 more drones programmed with the same knowledge. The mathematical progression was terrifying. 1 drone became 10, 10 became 100, 100 became 1,000, and all of them were programmed to attack the largest, most dangerous targets first. "Status report," Crix demanded from his flagship. "The human devices are spreading throughout the fleet," his tactical officer reported. "They're self-replicating and learning from each encounter. Every ship they attack makes them better at attacking the next ship." This was another concept the aliens had never encountered. Most galactic species fought with honor and restraint. They used weapons designed to defeat enemies, not to consume them. The idea of self-replicating weapons that learned and adapted was foreign to their thinking. "Lieutenant," Jinne's voice continued over the communication channels. "You asked us to surrender our colonies. Do you know what those colonies mean to us?" The images on the alien screens changed again. Now they showed human families on distant worlds, children playing under alien suns, farmers working alien soil, scientists exploring new forms of life. "Those are our children," Jinne said, her voice growing harder. "Our future, our hope for tomorrow, and you told us to abandon them?" The images shifted once more. Now the aliens saw what humans did to threats against their young. Mother animals defending their offspring with savage fury. Human parents doing anything, sacrificing everything, to protect their children. There is no force in the universe more dangerous than a human protecting their young, Jinne said. "You threatened our children. That was your mistake." General Mox, watching from his command ship, finally understood what he was seeing. "They're not fighting like a military," he said, slowly. "They're fighting like a family defending their home." "What's the difference?" asked his aide. "Military forces have rules. Families have no limits." The hunter-killer drones had now spread to over half the alien fleet. Ships that had seemed invincible were reporting critical systems failures as the tiny machines ate through their hulls and consumed their electronics. "Sir," reported a panicked alien communications officer, "the human devices are inside our computer systems. They're rewriting our code." This was the truly terrifying part of Dr. Minho's design. The drones didn't just destroy ships, they learned from them. Every alien computer system they accessed gave them more knowledge about alien technology, which they immediately shared with the rest of the human fleet. Captain Han Sol, still commanding. The human fleet from his flagship watched the alien formation beginning to collapse. Ships were breaking away from their assigned positions, fleeing the spreading swarm of human drones. "All ships," he said calmly. "Begin Phase 3. Target the ships trying to escape." The human fleet moved with predatory precision. They had been letting the aliens maintain formation because trapped enemies were easier to destroy than scattered ones. Now that the aliens were starting to panic and break ranks, it was time to start the real hunt. Pilot Nari led her fighter squadrons in. Attacks on the fleeing alien vessels. Human ships were faster and more maneuverable than alien designs because they had been built by predators who understood pursuit. "Sir," reported the alien tactical officer to Commander Crix, "our fleet is beginning to break formation. Some ships are requesting permission to withdraw." "Denied!" Crix shouted. "We outnumber them! We have superior firepower. Sir, with respect, none of that seems to matter. The humans don't fight like any enemy we've ever faced. Lieutenant Jin A's final transmission echoed across the alien fleet. You came here expecting to find prey, weak creatures who would surrender rather than fight. You were wrong. The images on the alien screens showed one final scene. Human children on the colonies, safe and protected, playing under alien stars while their parents stood guard. We are not prey, Jin-A said. We are predators. We are hunters. We are parents. And you threatened our young. Her voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried more menace than any shout. Now you learn what that means. Throughout the alien fleet, ships were reporting system failures, crew panic, and critical damage from the spreading swarm of human drones. The perfectly organized armada was dissolving into chaos as the reality of their situation became clear. They had not come to conquer prey. They had come to attack apex predators on their home territory, and apex predators fought back. The battle was far from over, but already the outcome was becoming clear. The galaxy's greatest military force was learning a lesson that would echo across the stars. Some species were born to hunt, and humans had been perfecting the art of killing since before they learned to make fire. Admiral Sora stood in the command center, watching the battle unfold on dozens of screens. The alien fleet was in chaos, but she knew this was just the beginning. It was time to show the galaxy what humanity really looked like when it went to war. All Shadow Fleet units, she said into her communication device. You are cleared for full engagement. Show them what we really brought to this fight. Throughout the asteroid belt, space itself seemed to come alive. What the aliens had thought was empty space suddenly filled with human warships, hundreds of them, each one emerging from perfect concealment like wolves stepping out of tall grass. Captain Wu Jin commanded the lead stealth ship, Night Hunter. His vessel had been floating motionless for 3 weeks, disguised as a piece of space debris. Now it shed its camouflage and revealed its true nature. All Hunter units, begin the pack attack, Wu Jin ordered. Remember, we're not here to fight fair. We're here to win. The stealth ships moved with deadly precision. They had been studying the alien fleet for weeks, identifying weak points, command ships, and critical support vessels. Now they struck at all of them simultaneously. The aliens found themselves under attack from enemies they couldn't see coming. Ships that looked like asteroids suddenly revealed weapon systems that tore through alien hulls. The perfect formations that had conquered dozens of worlds collapsed as command ships exploded without warning. Report! Commander Crix demanded from his flagship. Sir, we're under attack from all directions. Enemy ships are appearing throughout our formation. Our casualty count is... The tactical officer paused, checking his instruments. Sir, we've lost over 2,000 ships in the last hour. Impossible. They only had 200 ships. Sir, they have more ships than we calculated. Many more. This was the truth the aliens were finally learning. Humanity hadn't shown them their entire fleet. They had shown them the ships they were willing to lose. The real human navy had been waiting in the shadows, preparing to strike when the enemy was committed and confused. Colonel Yoon Seo, leading the psychological operations team, watched with satisfaction as alien communications filled with panic and fear. Her teams had been monitoring alien channels for months, learning how different species thought and what frightened them most. Begin Operation Nightmare, she ordered. Across the alien fleet, communication systems began broadcasting. Sounds that chilled alien blood. Earth's predators at work. The roar of lions, the howl of wolves, the hunting cry of hawks diving on their prey. But worse than that, they broadcast human sounds. Human laughter during battle, human voices singing war songs, human commands given, calmly, while ships exploded around them. "What are they doing?" asked General Mox, listening to the terrifying sounds coming from his speakers. "I think," said his aide, "they're hunting us." The psychological attack was devastating. Alien species had evolved as prey animals. Deep in their genetic memory were instincts that told them to flee when they heard predator sounds. Now those instincts were screaming at them to run. "Sir," reported a Zephyrian communications officer, his feathers trembling, "half our fighter. Squadrons are requesting permission to return to the carriers. They say they can't concentrate with those sounds." "Sir," added a Vorthon tactical officer, "Battle Group 7 is requesting immediate withdrawal. They report that their crews are unable to function effectively." Captain Day-Ho, leading a group of stealth fighters, smiled as he listened to the alien communications. Fear was spreading through their fleet like a virus. Ships that should have been fighting were instead fleeing or hiding behind larger vessels. "All units," he broadcast to his squadron, "the pack hunt is working. Continue targeting command and control systems. Make them blind and deaf." His fighters moved through the alien formation like sharks through a school of fish. They struck quickly at communications arrays, sensor systems, and bridge sections, then disappeared back into the chaos before the aliens could respond. This was human warfare at its purest. Not the massive, honorable battles that civilized species fought, but the efficient, merciless hunting that apex predators had perfected over millions of years. "Sir," reported the alien fleet's senior tactical officer to Commander Crix, "we need to consider withdrawal. We're losing ships faster than—" "We can count them! We outnumber them 10 to 1, Crix protested. "Sir, numbers don't seem to matter. They're not fighting like any enemy we've ever faced. They're coordinating without communications. They're adapting faster than we can respond. And they're enjoying this." That was the most terrifying part for the aliens. Human communications were filled with laughter, jokes, and casual conversation. The humans weren't desperate or angry. They were having fun. Pilot Nari's voice came over the human communication channel as she destroyed another alien fighter. "Scratch one more. These guys are slower than I expected." "Nice work, Nari," replied another pilot. "I got 3 in the last minute. They keep flying in straight lines." "It's like they've never seen real fighter combat before," added a third voice. The casual tone horrified the aliens listening in. Most species fought with grim determination or desperate fury. Only apex predators fought with this kind of relaxed confidence. Admiral Sora watched the battle statistics updating on her screens. The alien fleet was disintegrating. Ships were fleeing in all directions, abandoning their formations and their mission. What had started as the largest military force in galactic history was becoming a chaotic rout. "Phase 4, she ordered. "Begin the demonstration." Captain Hansol received the order and smiled coldly. "All ships, target the alien flagship. Show them what happens when someone threatens human children." The entire human fleet turned their attention to Commander Crix's massive dreadnought. It was the largest ship in the alien armada, bristling with weapons and protected by shields that could withstand planetary bombardment. The human attack was precise and coordinated. Instead of trying to overwhelm the alien shields with brute force, They used adaptive targeting. Each human ship fired at a different frequency, forcing the alien shields to constantly adjust. Within minutes, the mighty dreadnought's defenses were flickering and failing. "Sir," reported the dreadnought's defensive officer, "our shields are failing. The humans are using some kind of rotating frequency attack. All weapons, return fire," Crix ordered. The dreadnought's massive guns opened fire, the same weapons that had destroyed Earth's moon, but now they were shooting at targets that could shoot back. Human ships danced around the slow-moving energy beams, their superior speed and maneuverability making them nearly impossible to hit. "Sir," reported the weapons officer, "we can't target them. They're moving too fast and too unpredictably." This was the difference between hunting prey and fighting predators. Prey animals stood still to be shot. Predators moved, adapted, and struck back from unexpected angles. The human attack intensified. Now they weren't just trying to disable the alien flagship. They were making an example of it. Every alien ship in the fleet could see their most powerful vessel being systematically destroyed by enemies they had underestimated. "Sir," the tactical officer said quietly, "perhaps we should signal our surrender." Crix stared at him in shock. "Surrender? We are the Galactic Council. We do not surrender to primitive species." "Sir, with respect, they don't seem very primitive." The dreadnought shuddered as human weapons found their mark. Critical systems began failing throughout the massive ship. The bridge lights flickered as power systems overloaded. "Sir," came a desperate voice from engineering, "we're losing main power. Life support is failing on decks 7 through 15. We need to evacuate." Crix looked around his command bridge. His officers stared back at him with eyes full of fear and confusion. These were beings who had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had never faced an enemy like this. "Open a channel to the human fleet," he said quietly. Captain Han Sol's calm face appeared on the main screen. Behind him, the human bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency. No signs of stress or panic despite being in the middle of the largest space battle in galactic history. "Commander Crix," Han Sol said politely, "what can I do for you?" "Human," Crix said, his voice shaking. We wish to discuss terms." Han Sol raised an eyebrow. "Terms? I thought you came here to destroy us. We may have misjudged the situation." "May have?" Han Sol's voice remained calm, but there was something dangerous in his eyes. "Commander, you threatened our children. You told us to abandon our colonies. You destroyed our moon as a demonstration. Yes, but you brought 10,000 ships to our home system with the intention of committing genocide. We were following galactic law." "Your law." Han Sol's voice was still quiet, but it carried across space like a death sentence. "Your law says that might makes right. Your law says that the strong can do whatever they want to the weak." Crix nodded desperately. "Yes, but we can change." "Good," Han Sol said, "because today you learn what happens when the weak turn out to be stronger than you ever imagined." Admiral Sora's voice cut across all human communication channels, cold and final. "All units, this is Admiral Sora. The aliens have asked to discuss terms. There will be no terms. There will be no mercy. There will be no survivors allowed to threaten human children ever again." The words sent a chill through both fleets, but for different reasons. The humans felt a grim satisfaction. The aliens felt terror unlike anything their species had ever experienced. "But, Admiral," Captain Han Sol replied, "they're trying to surrender." "They came here to kill our children," Sora said simply. "They destroyed our moon as a threat. They brought 10,000 ships to commit genocide. Surrender was an option before they fired the first shot. Now there is only justice. Captain Deho, leading his hunter squadron through the alien fleet, understood perfectly. All pursuit units, begin the deep hunt. No alien ship leaves this system. None of them go home to tell others that threatening humanity is acceptable. This was the moment the galaxy would remember forever. The moment when humanity showed its true face. Not the polite diplomats or the peaceful colonists, but the apex predators that had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain by being more dangerous than anything else that lived. The alien fleet tried to retreat. Ships that had been fighting desperately now turned to run, their crews finally understanding that they had made a terrible mistake. But running from humans was like running from wolves. It only made the hunt more exciting. "Sir," reported the sensor officer on Commander Crix's failing flagship, "the human ships are pursuing our retreating vessels. They're not letting anyone escape." "They have to let us withdraw," Crix said desperately. "It's galactic law. Defeated forces are allowed to retreat." "Sir," his tactical officer said quietly, "I don't think they care about galactic law anymore." Captain, Wu Jin's stealth ship Night Hunter had positioned itself along the most likely escape route. As alien ships fled in panic, they ran straight into his weapons range. His ship was designed for exactly this kind of hunting, picking off isolated targets that thought they were safe. "Target the engines first," he ordered his crew. "Disable them, then destroy them. We want them to have time to think about what they did before they die." The Night Hunter struck like a predator from the darkness. Alien ships that thought they had escaped suddenly found themselves crippled and helpless, drifting in space while human ships closed in for the kill. Pilot Nari led her fighter squadrons in hunting down the smaller alien vessels. Her pilots had trained for this moment, practicing pursuit tactics that civilized species never developed because they never needed them. "Remember," she broadcast to her squadron, "these are the people who wanted to kill human children. Show them what happens when you threaten a predator's young." The human fighters moved through space like a pack of hunting animals. They coordinated, without radio communications, using instincts that had been refined over millions of years of evolution. Each pilot knew exactly where their wingmates would be, what targets they would choose, how they would attack. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Their own fighter tactics were based on formation flying and coordinated attacks. The humans fought like individuals who happened to be working together, each one dangerous on their own, terrifying when grouped. "Sir," reported a panicked alien. "Pilot, they're everywhere. I can't shake them." "Use evasive maneuvers," ordered the alien flight controller. "I am. They know what I'm going to do before I do it." This was the difference between prey and predator thinking. Prey animals had predictable escape patterns because running away was their only option. Predators understood both sides of the hunt. They knew how prey would try to escape because they had been studying prey behavior for millions of years. Colonel Yuncio watched the psychological profiles of the alien crews and smiled coldly. Fear was spreading through their fleet like a plague. Ships were reporting crew mutinies, officers abandoning their posts, and entire sections refusing to fight. "Begin Operation Terror," she ordered her team. New sounds filled the alien communication channels. Not the hunting cries of Earth's predators this time, but something worse. Human voices, calm and methodical, discussing the battle like it was a routine exercise. "Alien ship destroyed," came one voice. "Moving to next target." "Confirmed kill on Battle Group 7 command ship," came another. "All hands lost." Hunter Squadron reporting. "No survivors from the Zephyrian carrier wing." The Casual tone was more terrifying than any war cry. The humans weren't angry or excited. They were just doing a job, exterminating a threat to their children with the same calm efficiency they might use to remove pests from their homes. Dr. Minho's hunter-killer drones had now spread throughout the alien fleet. The self-replicating machines had learned everything there was to know about alien technology and were using that knowledge to destroy ships from the inside out. "Sir," reported the engineering officer on a Vorthon battleship, "the human devices have taken control of our main computer. They're turning our own weapons against us." "Shut down all computer systems," ordered the captain. "We can't, sir. They've locked us out. We're firing on our own ships, and there's nothing we can do to stop it." This was humanity's answer to superior numbers. If the aliens wanted to bring 10,000 ships, humans would turn those ships into weapons against each other. The alien fleet was literally tearing itself apart as human drones forced their computers to target friendly vessels. Captain Han Sol watched the destruction from his flagship, feeling no satisfaction, only grim necessity. "All ships, maintain pursuit. I want every alien vessel accounted for." "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "some of the alien ships are broadcasting surrender signals." "Noted. Continue firing." "Sir, Galactic Convention requires us to accept surrender." Han Sol turned to look at his officer. Galactic Convention allowed them to threaten genocide against human colonies. Galactic Convention said might makes right. Today they learn what happens when they meet someone mightier than they are. The human fleet moved through the alien armada like death itself. Ships that had conquered worlds were destroyed in minutes. Crews that had never known defeat were learning what it felt like to be prey. Admiral Sora watched the battle statistics on her screens. Of the original 10,000 alien ships, fewer than 3,000 were still operational. The rest were debris drifting in space, monuments to the galaxy's miscalculation about humanity. "Open a channel to all remaining alien vessels," she ordered. Her image appeared on screens throughout what was left of the alien fleet. She was a small woman with gray hair and calm eyes, but every alien who saw her felt a chill of absolute terror. "Alien forces," she said quietly. "You came here to destroy humanity. You threatened our children. You brought weapons of genocide to our home system. You thought we were prey." She paused, letting her words sink in. "You were wrong. We are predators. We are hunters. We are parents protecting our young, and you have just learned the most important lesson in galactic history." Her voice grew colder. "When you threaten humanity's children, we don't negotiate. We don't show mercy. We don't accept surrender. We eliminate the threat completely, permanently, and without hesitation." The alien fleet was breaking apart completely now. Ships that weren't destroyed were fleeing in all directions, their crews too terrified to think clearly. But the humans were faster, more organized, and absolutely relentless. "Sir," reported Commander Crix's tactical officer, "we're the last. Command ship still operational. The fleet is gone." Crix stared at his screens in shock. In 6 hours, the greatest military force in galactic history had been reduced to scattered debris and fleeing survivors, all by a species they had thought was primitive and weak. "How?" he whispered. "Sir, how did they do this? We outnumbered them. We had superior technology. We had thousands of years of military experience." His tactical officer looked at the human ships still hunting through space and understood. "Sir, I think we made a fundamental error. We thought they were like us. We thought they were civilized." "They are civilized." "No, sir. They're predators. They've just been pretending to be civilized. Today, we made them stop pretending. The battle was ending, but the war was just beginning. Soon, word of this defeat would spread across the galaxy. Every species would learn that humanity was not just another member of the galactic community. They were something far more dangerous. They were apex predators who had reached the stars, and they had just announced their presence to the universe in the most terrifying way possible. 6 months after the battle, Ambassador Hyunwoo stood once again at the window of his orbital station. The view had changed. Where Earth's moon had once orbited, there was now a massive space station. The humans had built it from the wreckage of the alien fleet, turning the remains of their enemies into a monument to their victory. The new Galactic Council was very different from the old one. The chamber was smaller, quieter, and filled with beings who looked at humanity with a mixture of fear and respect that bordered on worship. Commander Crix sat in the front row, one of only a few hundred aliens who had survived the battle. His 4 arms were folded tightly against his body, a defensive posture his species used when they felt threatened. He had been threatened for 6 months now. "The Council recognizes Ambassador Hyunwoo of humanity," announced the session leader, a small creature whose species had wisely stayed neutral during the recent conflict. Hyunwoo stepped to the center of the chamber. He looked exactly the same as he had during that first meeting. Calm, professional, almost bored. But every alien in the room knew better now. They had learned what lay beneath that polite exterior. "Thank you," Hyunwoo said. "I believe you wanted to discuss the new galactic order." "Yes," said the session leader nervously. "The Council has some concerns about recent human activities, such as the orbital defense platforms you've placed around every inhabited world in the galaxy." "Ah, yes," Hyunwoo nodded. "The sword of Damocles' network. What about them concerns you?" Dr. Boram, sitting in the human delegation section, smiled slightly. The orbital platforms were his design. Weapons that could crack planets, positioned over every major alien world in the galaxy. They were a reminder of what happened when species threatened humanity. "The platforms make us uncomfortable," admitted a Zephyrian representative, his feathers trembling. "I understand," Hyunwoo replied. "They're meant to. We want everyone to be very comfortable with the idea that threatening human interests has consequences." "But surely," said another alien delegate, "such measures are excessive. The war is over. We've learned our lesson." "Have you?" Hyunwoo asked quietly. The chamber fell silent. Everyone remembered what had happened to the last group of aliens who thought they had taught humanity a lesson. Engineer Ye Jin, monitoring the platforms from her control center on Earth, watched the readings from orbit. Each platform was a masterpiece of human engineering, a weapon that could destroy worlds, powered by the same adaptive technology that had defeated the alien fleet. "Status report," she said to her team. "All platforms online and operational," came the reply. "Detection systems are working perfectly. If anyone tries to remove or disable them, we'll know immediately." "And response time?" 30 seconds from detection to planetary sterilization." Ye-Jin nodded with satisfaction. The galaxy was learning to behave itself under the gentle supervision of human weapons pointed at their home worlds. Back in the council chamber, the session leader was trying to find a diplomatic way to address the elephant in the room. "Ambassador, the Council appreciates humanity's commitment to galactic peace, but perhaps we could discuss some form of mutual oversight?" "Mutual oversight of what?" Hyunwoo asked. "Of the orbital platforms, and the human fleet, and the other measures you've implemented." Such as? The aliens looked at each other nervously. Nobody wanted to be the one to say it out loud. Finally, Commander Crix spoke up. The hunting parties. Ah, Hyunwoo said. You mean our Deep Space Patrol units. Captain Daeho's squadron was currently 3 sectors away, tracking down the remnants of a pirate fleet that had made the mistake of attacking a human cargo ship. The pirates were learning that stealing from humans was a fatal error in judgment. Yes, Crix continued. Your patrol units seem to be very thorough in their work. We're efficient, Hyunwoo agreed. When someone commits a crime against humanity, we make sure they understand their mistake, permanently. But the pirates you're hunting weren't even targeting humans specifically, protested a delegate from the Outer Rim territories. They attacked a human ship, Hyunwoo said simply. That makes them our problem. We solve our problems completely. This was the new reality of the galaxy. Humanity didn't just defend itself anymore. It hunted down threats, eliminated them, and made sure everyone knew what had happened. Pirates, raiders, and aggressive species were learning to avoid anything with human markings. Perhaps, suggested the session leader carefully, humanity could consider a more proportional response to minor infractions. What would you consider proportional? Hyunwoo asked. Well, for piracy, perhaps imprisonment instead of complete elimination of the pirate organization and everyone connected to it. I see. And when those pirates escape from prison and attack more innocent ships, who takes responsibility for those deaths? The alien delegate had no answer. Admiral Sora's voice came through Hyunwoo's private communication device. Hyunwoo, we've completed the analysis of galactic military capabilities. Would you like the summary? Please. After the recent conflict, combined alien military strength is approximately 15% of what it was 6 months ago. Most surviving species have converted their military ships to civilian use. The few that maintain armed forces are using them exclusively for local defense. And the overall threat assessment? Negligible. The galaxy appears to have accepted humanity's position as the dominant military power. Hyunwoo nodded. This was exactly what humanity had intended. Not conquest, but dominance. Not rule, but the clear understanding that challenging humans was not survivable. The Council would also like to discuss trade relations, the session leader continued. What about them? Human merchants seem to have significant advantages in negotiations. This was another change. Human traders were no longer just participants in galactic commerce. They were the dominant force. When a human merchant made an offer, alien traders accepted it. The alternative was to risk humanity's displeasure, and everyone knew what that meant. Our merchants offer fair prices for quality goods, Hyunwoo said. If alien traders can't compete, perhaps they should improve their products or services. But the human trading ships are accompanied by military escorts, complained a trade representative. For their protection, Hyunwoo replied innocently. What he didn't mention was that those escorts were there to ensure that no one made the mistake of cheating, threatening, or attacking human merchants. The galaxy's commercial sectors had become very polite and fair since human warships started providing trade security. Captain Hansol commanded one of those escort fleets. His ships looked like simple cargo vessels, but they were actually heavily armed warships designed to respond to any threat against human commerce. In the past 6 months, they had only needed to demonstrate their capabilities twice. Both demonstrations had been very educational for the local alien populations. The Council has one final concern, the session leader said hesitantly. Yes? The human colonies are expanding very rapidly. Some species are worried about territorial conflicts. Are they planning to challenge human expansion? Hyunwoo asked. No, of course not. We just want to ensure that future expansion follows proper galactic protocols. What protocols would those be? Well, the traditional procedures for claiming. New worlds involve council approval and environmental impact studies and cultural preservation assessments. Hyunwoo waited patiently while the alien listed 24 bureaucratic requirements that had been used for centuries to limit expansion by newer species. I see, he said when the list was finished. And what happens if humanity chooses not to? Follow those protocols? The chamber was silent. Everyone knew the answer, but nobody wanted to say it. Nothing, admitted the session leader quietly. Nothing happens. Then I think we understand each other, Hyunwoo said. Humanity will continue to expand as we see fit. Other species are welcome to expand as well, as long as they don't interfere with human interests. And if they do interfere, then they learn the same lesson the previous galactic order learned. Some species are born to hunt, and we've been hunting for 4 billion years. The session leader looked around the chamber at the faces of the surviving alien delegates. They all wore the same expression, the look of prey animals who had finally met their natural predator. Is there anything else the council would like to discuss? Hyunwoo asked politely. No, the session leader said quickly. No, I think we've covered everything. Excellent. Then let me close with a reminder of humanity's position. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to conquer other species. We simply want to be left alone to live our lives and raise our children in peace. He paused and looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of every delegate. But if anyone threatens our peace, if anyone threatens our children, if anyone makes the mistake of thinking that humanity can be intimidated or controlled, they will learn what their predecessors learned. We are not prey. We are predators, and predators don't negotiate with threats. The chamber remained silent as Hyunwoo gathered his materials and prepared to leave. As he reached the door, he turned back one final time. Oh, and council, if anyone has any other ultimatums or threats they'd like to make, please feel free to share them. I'd hate for there to be any misunderstandings about humanity's position. 2 years had passed since the battle that changed everything. The galaxy had settled into its new reality, and most species had learned to live with the knowledge that humanity was no longer just another member of the galactic community. They were the apex predators, and everyone else was prey. Admiral Sora walked through the corridors of the new human command station, built in Earth's orbit where the moon had once been. The station was both a monument to human victory and a reminder to the galaxy of what happened when someone threatened humanity's children. That was what this had always been about. She stopped at an observation deck and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, human colonies were thriving on dozens of worlds. Children were being born under alien suns, growing up free and safe because their parents had proven that humanity could not be threatened. "Admiral," came a voice behind her. Captain Hansol approached, carrying a data pad. "We have a situation developing in the Outer Rim." "What kind of situation?" "A new species has been discovered. They call themselves the Hegemony. Early reports suggest they're aggressive, expansionist, and very confident in their military superiority." Sora smiled slightly. "How familiar? What do they want?" "According to our deep space scouts, they're demanding that all species in their region submit to their authority. They've already conquered 3 systems and are moving toward human colonies in Sector 7. "I see," And what do they know about humans? Apparently nothing. They seem to think we're just another prey species to be conquered. Sora looked back out at the stars. Somewhere out there, another species was about to learn the most important lesson. In galactic history, she almost felt sorry for them. Alert all units in that sector, and send Ambassador Hyunwoo my regards. I suspect he'll be having another interesting conversation soon. 3 days later, Ambassador Hyunwoo sat in his office, reviewing reports from the frontier colonies. The new aliens, the hegemony, were indeed aggressive and confident. They had sent ultimatums to every human settlement in their path, demanding immediate surrender. His communication system chimed. An incoming message from the hegemony leadership. The alien that appeared on his screen was impressive in the way that predators usually were. Large, powerful, with natural armor and multiple limbs ending in what looked like weapon appendages. This was a species that had evolved to fight and dominate. "Human," the alien said without introduction. "I am War Master Thak of the hegemony. You will surrender your colonies in the Outer Rim immediately, or we will take them by force." Hyunwoo studied the alien with interest. "Good afternoon, War Master. I don't believe we've been properly introduced. I'm Ambassador Hyunwoo, representing humanity. Please, continue with your demands." The alien looked confused for a moment. This was not the reaction most species had when faced with hegemony threats. "You will evacuate your colonies within 10 standard days. You will submit your military forces to our command. You will accept hegemony rule or face total annihilation." Hyunwoo made a few notes on his tablet. 10 days. Total annihilation. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your ultimatum? Are you mocking me, human? Not at all. I'm just making sure I understand your position completely. You want us to abandon our colonies, surrender our military, and submit to your authority. Is that all? War Master Thak's armor bristled with anger. That is all that matters. We are the hegemony. We have conquered 100 worlds. Your pathetic species will bow before us or be destroyed. I see. And how many ships are you bringing to enforce this ultimatum? 15,000 of the finest warships in the galaxy. Weapons that can crack planets. Warriors who have never known. Defeat! 15,000, Hyunwoo repeated. That's certainly impressive. Thank you for the information. Information? Human. You seem to misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. This is your notice of conquest. Submit or die. I understand perfectly, Hyunwoo said calmly. Was there anything else you wanted to tell me? The alien stared at him in bewilderment. In all their conquests, no species had ever reacted like this. Where was the fear? Where was the desperate bargaining? Where was the immediate offer of surrender? Human, do you not understand what you face? We are the hegemony. We are the most powerful military force this galaxy has ever seen. Actually, Hyunwoo said gently, you're the second most powerful military force this galaxy has seen. The first one tried this same approach about 2 years ago. What happened to them? They learned that threatening human children has consequences. War Master Thak leaned forward, his weapon arms clicking with anticipation. Are you threatening me, human? Not at all. I'm simply sharing historical information. The last group that tried to force humanity to abandon our colonies brought 10,000 ships. They were very confident, just like you. And now they're dead. All of them. The alien laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Impossible. No prey species could defeat a force of 10,000 ships. You're absolutely right, Hyunwoo agreed. No prey species could. Fortunately, humanity isn't a prey species. What are you, then? We're predators, War Master. Apex predators. We're the things that other predators have nightmares about. For the first time, something like uncertainty flickered in the alien's eyes. You're bluffing. No species could defeat the combined might of the galaxy. The combined might of the galaxy tried to defeat us 2 years ago. Would you like to see the results? Hyunwoo activated a secondary screen showing the debris field where the alien fleet had been destroyed. Thousands of wrecked ships drifted in space, a monument to what happened when someone threatened humanity. Impossible, War Master Thak whispered. Quite possible, actually. The galaxy learned an important lesson that day. Some species are born to be prey. Others are born to be predators. And a very few species are born to hunt the predators. You're lying. This must be some kind of trick. No trick, just reality. The species that tried to force us to abandon our colonies learned that humanity doesn't negotiate with threats. We eliminate them. The alien was silent for a long moment, staring at the images of destruction. Human, he said finally. Perhaps there has been a misunderstanding. The hegemony is always willing to discuss peaceful solutions with other civilized species. I'm afraid it's too late for that, Hyunwoo said sadly. You've already made your ultimatum. You've threatened our colonies. You've declared your intention to conquer human worlds and enslave human children. But we can negotiate. The time for negotiation was before you threatened us. Now there's only one outcome. War Master Thak's armor was no longer bristling with confidence. Now it was pulled tight against his body in a defensive posture. What outcome? The same outcome that befell the last species that made this mistake. Complete elimination. You can't be serious. We have 15,000 ships. The last group had 10,000. Numbers don't seem to matter much when you're fighting apex predators on their home territory. Hyunwoo stood up from his desk and walked to the window overlooking Earth. The planet looked peaceful from orbit, blue and green and beautiful. But the alien was finally beginning to understand what lay beneath that peaceful exterior. War Master, let me explain something about humans that might help you understand your situation. Every other species in the galaxy evolved as prey animals or peaceful omnivores. They developed technology to escape their natural predators, not to become better predators themselves. And humans? Humans evolved as persistence hunters on a death world. We spent millions of years learning to hunt things bigger, stronger, and more dangerous than ourselves. We learned to work in packs. We learned to use tools. We learned to plan. And most importantly, we learned to never give up until our prey was dead. War Master Thak was beginning to understand. You're saying humans are natural killers. I'm saying humans are what happens when apex predators learn to build starships. You wanted to conquer our colonies? You threatened our children. Do you understand what that means to a predator species? What? It means you've just declared yourself to be a threat to our young, and predators don't negotiate with threats to their offspring. They eliminate them. The communication screen flickered as Admiral Sora's image appeared alongside Hyunwoo's. The War Master looked at the small human woman and saw something in her eyes that made his natural armor try to retract. Even further. War Master Thak, Sora said calmly. I'm Admiral Sora of the Human Defense Force. I understand you have 15,000 ships approaching our territory. Yes, but we can discuss. There's nothing to discuss. You threatened human children. In about 6 hours, you're going to learn what happened to the last group that made that mistake. Admiral, surely we can reach some accommodation. The accommodation is simple. You brought 15,000 ships to threaten humanity. We're going to destroy all 15,000 ships and everyone on them. Then we're going to find your homeworlds and make sure this never happens again." War Master Thak stared at the two, humans in horror. They weren't angry or emotional. They were discussing his species' extinction with the same calm tone they might use to plan a grocery shopping trip. "You're talking about genocide," he whispered.